What if Stitch was in the My Hero Academia anime? Years that Lilo was 18 or actually more older than she is in the show. He told Stitch that she promised to go back. Months later, for Stitch to expect Lilo to come back, she wasn't. Stitch calling out her name, Lilo, looking around, and she had this necklace that Stitch was given by Lilo in Leroy and Stitch movie. Hanged it up, went to a ship, and flew away. Later on, Jumba came into his ship and was following him. Stitch, didn't listen to Jumba to go back to Hawaii, and something happened. Stitch's spaceship malfunctioned, and he went into the My Hero world. What if Stitch was in My Hero Academia Part 2? Stitch was confused. He was flying, and then he noticed that everything started looking different. He went into Japan and decided to landed in a very safe place, and it was a beach full of garbage, and Stitch decided to cover the ship when no one was looking. Well, we're at night, so no one was really there. So Stitch decided to cover up his ship by dust, and it wasn't that big like Jumba's ship. Later on, Stitch woke up, decided to crawl around. A lot of people thought he was a dog. Stitch was confused. Why is there so many humans having these extraordinary abilities? Some are cool, some are weird, some are Stitch crossed this school and looks up and hears someone's getting bullied. Everyone laughing, making fun of this boy because he was quirkless. Stitch was confused. What does that mean, quirkless? Stitch decided to crawl up to the window. Stitch noticed that everyone was bullying this specific green kid. The boy was saying, I know I don't have a quirk, but at least I can try, right? Everyone was slowly surrounding him. Stitch breaks through the window. Everyone looks at the shattered window, confused, and sees a little blue koala-like, chihuahua-like. Not doing anything to me. Of course, the blonde boy with the hands exploding, crackling, while these two other boys were slowly coming to him too. What do you think you're gonna do? And before he starts, he almost finished his sentence. Stitch runs around him, swirling him like a blue blur. Bakugo and the other two was getting dizzy, trying to attack him, but Stitch easily whopped the floor of them. Stitch threw three of them, circling around like this, and decides to throw them into a wall, but not hard enough so they don't die because Stitch was leagues above them. And Stitch looks at the others of the other classmates that was about to bully him and growls at them. Everyone slowly walking away from this blue creature. Stitch crawls to this boy, this green-haired boy with freckles, stuttering, oh my gosh.
Green boy, okay?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Midori, he responds, I'm Izuku Midoriya, but the others call me Deku.
Oh, just like my name is Stitch.
What's your original name? Stitch just stays silent, telling him that he can't really say it, especially in public. And after school, Bakugo tried to fight Stitch again, but the same result. Stitch and Midoriya were walking home, while Midoriya was kind of thanking him for it, protecting him. No one really protected him.
What about your mother?
I didn't really tell my mother about it.
Why?
Because my mom thought that me and Kachan are friends.
Well, are you guys friends?
Well, back then, but after I was found out that I was diagnosed quirkless and he got a quirk.
What's a quirk?
Huh? Well, I guess you are an animal, so you probably don't understand. And you probably have it, obviously. A quirk is an ability that everyone was born with. You know, superpowers.
Oh.
All were walking through this dark tunnel. Stitch kind of is motivating Midoriya to become a hero and doesn't have to have a quirk to begin with. Because, Stitch knew someone that didn't really have any powers, but was on the adventure. Oh my gosh, bro. They were walking. While Midoriya was kind of thinking, almost tearing up, Stitch heard some, with his good hearing, heard some. Stitch looks slowly behind and sees a big bunch of goo coming out of the sewer lid, the manhole. Oh, you got a perfect body. This sludge was talking, and eyes and mouth were appearing. Stitch was like, but Stitch wasn't really that surprised because Stitch in his old days have fought creatures, and one was a sludge. And the sludge fellow wasn't talking to the blue alien. He was talking to the boy. Midoriya tried to run, but it almost grabbed him. But Stitch went in front, and he let the sludge fellow came at him. Midoriya shouted out Stitch's name, but Stitch was still fine. And spits the sludge fellow out. And the sludge fellow was shocked. Like, what the hell? How'd you do that? And the sludge fellow was about to fight, but then Stitch kind of used the environment around him as, that's a Stitch's like battle IQ, use something around the environment. Stitch decided to jump and punch the rooftop. Everything, like rubbles and big parts of the destroyed roof, fell and collapsed on the sludge fellow. The sludge fellow was about to come out, trying to move, but then some muscular blonde guy came out. Stitch assumed it was a monster or a villain, but no. He said, "No need to fear, because I am here." All Might, the #1 hero. Midoriya was shocked, and he kind of passed out from it. Stitch looked behind. Fuck you, Zuko. Stitch calling, trying to wake him up, smack him up. Well, the sludge fellow couldn't really do anything, since there was kind of two people that, was able to take him down, probably. So, Stitch did. And All Might scooped up the sludges and thanked one of them, like, who really did this? And Stitch raised his hands up. Well, good job, young man. Or good boy. Bark, bark. Stitch intimidating to be a dog. Intimidating. And Deku wakes up and asks for the autograph, which All Might did. And Stitch wanted to test if this guy is really a hero in his mind. Excuse me? Yes, young one? What is your name, actually? Oh, Stitch. Do you think quirkless people can become a hero? To be quite honest, no. No, you can't. Stitch was shocked, devastated by this big hero's answer. Midoriya wasn't really surprised, I guess. Just more of a disappointment. And Stitch looked back to see Midoriya's disappointed face, and Stitch looks blind, looking back at All Might, but with pure anger. What if Stitch was in My Hero Academia Part 3? Stitch was getting a little bit angry, saying these little gibberish words, and the boy, the hero, and the villain that was in a little cup bottle didn't understand. Stitch launched at All Might, which All Might did not expect because Stitch was agile and fast. A big battle started happening, and Stitch grabbed All Might and flew, like how Superman goes flying towards him and goes through buildings. They were both in the air, and Stitch got some good hits. But he was holding back, just Stitch was angry at him. He can be angry and hold back. and All Might was shocked. He kind of knew that, why is this guy holding back? The bottle suddenly was letting go because Stitch was scratching him in the face, biting him. It was biting really damn hard and good. It's making All Might bleed. All Might was shocked and tried to hit Stitch, but Stitch was keep moving around him in the air. And then Stitch went to the leg and grabbed him in the air, grabbed his leg, starting throwing him to the ground, which landed at a small building. Multiple buildings were destroyed, but not the whole building, because Stitch knew there was people there, but to like the top, like the ceilings. And All Might was getting devastated and getting injured actually. And Stitch was growling,
Mega, Mila Krista.
All Might didn't understand that, but decided to punch Stitch, which got a good hit. He sent Stitch flying miles, but Stitch didn't bleed and grabbed on his feet, using his extra arms to retract. Extra arms came out. All Might was shocked. Helicopters were flying, saying that this little blue creature is fighting All Might. Jumbo was walking out looking for his little experiment 626. Looking on the freaking news, he found him. And he kind of knew where Equation is, and that's where there's a huge crash and explosions. It was devastating. All Might was losing, actually. Other heroes tried to stop, but Stitch was going after him. And Stitch was pretty fast and too strong for them. And Stitch was yelling at All Might.
All Might better say sorry, or Stitch will club your eyes out.
All Might did not know what to do. What would he do? What if Stitch was in My Hero Academia Part 4? And All Might are in a brawl. Well, Stitch had the advantage due to his stamina and endurance, and stronger and durable. All Might had to think of something. He decided planning to use his trump card. Even then, he doesn't even know if that would work. He doesn't even know if the little blue creature can take it. And then an explosion occurred. Stitch and All Might look into the direction, and they see the sludge villain. What? Stitch said,
Oh. All Might let go.
Almost was shocked, and his smoke was coming over him. Stitch was getting a little bit more confused. Why is there smoke coming in of him? Stitch looked using his X-ray vision that Stitch actually has. If you watch the show, you know. And noticed that he had an injury. That's probably why. It was a transformation type quirk. Stitch looks in direction, sees the sludge villain taking over Bakugo. Stitch looked like Bakugo was in pain. Stitch Midoriya was running to him, trying to claw him off. It was just chaos. The sludge villain decided to take Bakugo's because he probably thought they could beat the blue rodent and All Might. But we know that ain't true, especially if they both attacked. But Midoriya, the sludge villain, didn't really have a chance to do it. So Stitch decided to go in, snatch Bakugo out. The sludge villain started screaming, "Why are you always in my way? Why are you in my way?" And Stitch decided to do something else. Noticed that there was fire over him, and Stitch grabbed some parts, making more fire, and just started throwing it at him, which the sludge villain was slowly getting on fire, while the sludge villain was screaming in agony because of the fire. Stitch decided to find a bottle that was broken out, and Stitch decided to use his speed, grab some small pieces using his extra arms, his 3 extra arms, while one was holding the bottle, and got in. And Stitch decided to take the fire out just by, running around, clapping, making wind pressure. Everything was done. And everyone did not know what to really do to round an applause for him? Or get scared of him because he was just fighting All Might? So Stitch rolled away, while Midoriya was just standing there shocked. What if Stitch was in My Hero Academia, Part 5? After he was done with this whole Stitch decides to go back to the beach that he first hid his ship, and he noticed Jumba and Peekly were there. Stitch was confused why they were here, and especially where Stitch's ship was.
How did you find Stitch?
Oh, 626, that's my evil genius. And, well, I got a device detector.
So where are we?
Must be in a different Earth where these other humans are actually having powers. Fascinating. Quickly shouted in excitement. Come on, 626, let's go into a better hiding place. I made a whole laboratory in a secret place in the forest. So as Stitch did, he took his ship and went to the forest. Later on, Stitch was crawling around, and a lot of people didn't really notice, even though they said a blue fur-like creature, but hey, there's a quirk, so there are probably multiple people that looks like him. So Stitch was walking and bunks into Izuku Midoriya. And Midoriya was kind of glad to see him again, and actually wanted to tell him some big news. All Might said that he can become a hero due to the heroic acts that Midoriya did before Stitch and All Might came from the sludge villain. Stitch was awfully shocked, very confused why he said that, and wasn't really processing what was going on. And then Midoriya explained one for all to him, a quirk that was passed down to generation, like a torch. Stitch was flabbergasted and kind of actually wanted to help. And due to Stitch, even though he's confirmed to be 18, what was it stated he was 18? But due to Stitch don't really age, he doesn't age at all. He could lie about his age, really. So they went to this beach, the same beach actually where he hid his ship. Yep, the exact same beach. Stitch actually recognized it. All Might explaining to Stitch how this exercise for Midoriya was gonna work. So Stitch kind of gives him motivation and how to work the body out, even though Stitch doesn't really train, really. No, he actually hasn't trained at all. Not at all. What if Stitch was in My Hero Academia Part 6? So, and actually All Might actually recommended Stitch to UA, I was about to say Sports Festival, UA Academy. Stitch did not understand what the hell is UA Academy. Midoriya and All Might was kind of shocked about this, but due to him being a pet and they don't really know that he was an alien from another Earth, another universe, they explained it to him. Stitch got a better understanding. So, yeah. So Stitch kind of learned on his skill, not really his strength, because Stitch did beat All Might's ass most of the time. I'm not gonna say it's a one shot, but if Stitch really wanted to, if he had the mindset and the maturity, one punch. Don't underestimate this boy. Like I was saying, Stitch was learning on his technique, watching these tournaments of martial arts, wrestling, judo, kickboxing, and other stuff. And he also obviously learned how to use the environment around him, which is kind of telling us his battle IQ, I guess. And Midoriya kind of overworked himself, and Stitch and All Might tried to tell him to not really overwork himself too much, but made that big speech
of, what they said in canon, and Stitch was proud, and Stitch wasn't there, and Midoriya kind of got over his quirk a little bit better. More better in the beginning than the original, due to Stitch helping him and giving him ideas. A girl named Machako Yoragi chattering in a little bit and kind of got a little bit called out. Destroyed a robot, and the thing is, it's doing a bit more better and actually kind of like a full caloing in My Hero Academia Season 2, due to Stitch giving him ideas and giving him more workouts, doing some extra little bit things like weightlifting into the gym, so forth, doing some jogging. Stitch kind of learned that from One Punch Man, just told him not to use it that much because Stitch kind of believed that if he did that, that he'll be like One Punch Man, and Stitch, he wouldn't need the quirk for it. So doing something similar to that, and Midoriya did, so he kind of is like, what if Stitch was in My Hero Academia Part 7? To some extreme workout, he was accepted. And Midoriya actually destroyed more robots than, of course, in original. Bakugo saw this. Extremely due more points due to this girl giving him, trying to give him points, but he didn't. But he got safe points. So Midoriya was crying in happiness. Stitch was extremely proud. Stitch knew that he was going to be in UA, of course, because he was recommended by the #1 Japan hero. Midoriya was leaving and noticed Stitch out here in his UA uniform. Talking to Inko a little bit, and Inko has her felt warmth that he has a friend. Even though doesn't really look like a human, but, they went to UA, and they were all looking for 1A. 1A. And Stitch finds it first. Midoriya seems a bit nervous about these two right here. And what is Midoriya's book? They're there talking about putting their Bakugo's freaking feet on the table. Taniita, take a chill, but motherfucker. Taniita didn't really. He heard a blue alien or a blue creature fighting All Might, but he didn't think it was him, so he didn't care about that. But he introduced himself to Stitch and Deku, and of course he talked like in actual canon. As you see, as the girl is here in 1A. Yay! Stitch looked at Bakugo like, oh, someone got a crush. No, Stitch, enough. Stop. Blue balls. What? Your guy in a yellow suit telling him, if you guys here to make friends, then just pack up and leave. Stitch looks around in confusion. What was that? Stitch uses X-ray, and it was just a normal human, just in a big suit. As this guy comes out, drinking some apple juice, he tells him that it was 8 seconds to quiet down, and that he was a pro hero. Well, he didn't tell him he was a pro hero. That he was a homeroom teacher, Soto Aizawa. And he told the whole class to put on the UA uniforms and decided to go outside. Test of our quirks. Of course, Stitch knew he doesn't have a quirk since he's not a human, but he couldn't really just say that out loud, could he? Well, what if Stitch was in My Hero Academia Part 8? Midoriya was nervous about this quirk assessment test to see what's their full potential. Stitch is gonna have to think, should he really hold back? Or should he go all out? Stitch was curious. Stitch, he wonders, let's see what will happen and see if he should hold back. Aizawa told the first place, Katsuge Bakugo. Midoriya was second place. Anyway, he was told to throw the ball by using his quirk. And he threw up in the air saying, "Die!" Stitch and Deck was like,
Die? Really?
the ball comes down. Stitch wasn't really impressed because Stitch sometimes overestimates himself, but sometimes Stitch clearly knows he could throw this in the air. No, into space. Because he did fight someone a lot stronger than he is, than Bakugo. Going to 705.2 meters. Everyone was saying that it was awesome, and Stitch kinda also said so. Stitch looks at this tired guy. You're the one recommended by All Might, and this is your reaction that it's fun.
Well, just looked cool.
Does it matter by coolness?
No, it's about heroics. Don't have to fight villains to be called a hero.
So you're mischievous and understanding. I'm gonna do this to all of you guys instead of this Stitch. The last placed is expelled. Stitch looked at them and took a guess, which was a ball boy. And Stitch looked like,
You can't do that though. They barely got here. Give them a chance. I'll make sure that they go at their full potential.
if you guys don't try, you'll be expelled. Aizawa agreed with Stitch. Doria did a bit more better and also took a big jump using his one for all on the legs, but not the whole leg, but like the feet, and jump forward, making him more faster than Bakugo, or beating Bakugo in that race. Bakugo seemed extremely pissed off and confused. What if Stitch was in My Hero Academia Part 9? Bakugo was confused and pissed off. So he was coming on, and Bakugo was flying towards him and said, "What the hell? Explain yourself, Deku!" Instead of the teacher stopping them, Midoriya's little blue friend did. Stitch bit him, or bit the sleeves, he bit the pants, you know? He bit the, right, here. And Bakugo tried to, like, get away from him, tell him to, like, get off, but Stitch kind of used his bite force to, like, throw him to the other side, away from Midoriya. Of course, Bakugo tried to fight, and Stitch was still faster, stronger, and durable. And Stitch is more skilled, but Stitch didn't really have to use skill, did he? So Bakugo didn't really stand a chance. He just threw off to the side. He didn't beat him. He just toyed with him, and Bakugo got pissed off. Bakugo tried his hardest through the course, hero course, not the hero course, the test, the practical exam, not practical. Assessment test. And Stitch was the second, no, Stitch was the first, almost second, and for Loki, third. Stitch was the first, and the funny thing is, Stitch was holding back. He just acted, he tried his best. Aizawa did have some skeptical. Why didn't he go all out? But he kind of did know that he kind of threw the ball into space, so yeah. And the only one that was close to Stitch's feat of throwing the ball was Uraka, but that was because of the zero gravity thing, so more of a Hack's abilities, but still Stitch fucking stomps. But they're walking home, or walking out of UA. Uraka, Taniita, Midoriya, Stitch were all talking to each other. Later on, a couple of days later, All Might comes in another suit, and he was told for this battle training. Stitch was unfortunately alone,
But hey, Stitch has extra arms, so that counts. But of course, the others don't know that yet.
What if Stitch was in My Hero Academia Part 10? So All Might put all of these people into the groups. Stitch was alone because he was in extra of 1A. But the team... So after Team A versus Team D, Stitch saw that what Deku really needed to work on. Of course, Deku wasn't as much damage like in the original, but he had some difficulties between Bakugo. Bakugo was talented. Of course, Stitch, you could say he was talented because he was born and survived a fucking black hole explosion one time. So now he has to deal with Team E, Mina Ashido and Ioma. So while Stitch was crawling in the room, thinking to himself, Mina Ashido came from the behind and threw acid at him. Of course, Stitch was agile enough, and well, Stitch was acid proof, so it wouldn't really hurt him, would it? Stitch was dodging with like blue blurs, like, and Stitch grabbed the rope that Minasha had and just wrapped it around her. All Might was fairly impressed, and Ioma was shooting his laser from his belly. Stitch kind of grabbed it, like he grabbed the laser, like grabbed it. You know how he like threw like the blast like from the plasma guns? Yeah, like that. But it's not gonna be hot or hurting. He's just gonna throw it right at Ioma and it beat him up. Stitch didn't have any difficulty. Of course, if you beat someone like, you feel like island level, while like All Might and manga Shigaraki is like mountain levels. What makes you think that Stitch is gonna get damaged by slow ass lasers? Mina Ashido dodged them. Okay, I'm not gonna go into power scaling terms, but Stitch won. No difficulty, negative difficulty. Stitch observed these other contestants, other classmates. So Stitch wrote in his little journal, well, in Deku's journal, while Deku was in his hospital, and Stitch was writing all of their abilities, the classmates' abilities, and their possible weaknesses. And some weaknesses have been showed, but they haven't noticed. Stitch knows that Todoroki's body can't handle all the temperature. Bakugo can't do it as much, and knows that the sweat will make it stronger because Stitch has very good hearing. Knows that Asui has... What if Stitch was in My Hero Academia Part 11? So you saw Asui with his temperature problems. He tells him everyone's weakness and possible weaknesses. When Kirishiba noticed him, but Stitch was faster, so he talked to him first. Everyone was surprised about him. They were all impressed about Stitch's strength, speed, smartness. He thinks faster than his supercomputer, but of course they don't know about the supercomputer from alien technology and society. But they were impressed and they were all worried. No, Stitch was worried, but Stitch used his X-ray and he knows that Deku was completely fucking fine. Stitch grabs him, gave him the note.
Here's a notebook.
Stitch, why you have this notebook? Midoriya looks down and sees all of the character, all of his classmates. Stitch, why are all of my classmates in this notebook with the heroes?
This is all of the strengths, the pros and the cons.
What do you mean? He sees all of their abilities and weaknesses, and Deku looks up. Why would you tell me all of them? How do you even know all of these abilities? Did they actually say it or shown it? The others were quite shocked. Like, you wrote all of that?
Yeah.
Why would you give me this?
Because you seem like the mostly observed one. After all these 10 months I've met with you, you are the observed ones, and you like to talk so much. I'm No, it's not. It's not a problem. Just sometimes talk too long.
And later on, after Midoriya and Bakugo have their talk, Stitch crawls home and sees Jumba and Quickly. They're working on to see if the experiments are doing anything just fine, and they seem to be are. But later on, next day, everyone was talking about who should be the class representative. Most people pointed at Stitch, at Deku.
Nah, I don't think so.
Everyone looked at him like, why?
Nah, because Stitch don't like it. Stitch mostly mischievous, so Stitch shouldn't be representative.
You know what? I always think actually because of Stitch's character, he would immediately raise his hands up. So I guess he would be one of them. It's mostly like me, Mina Ashito's friend, but you know. Alright, see you on part 12. What if Stitch was in My Hero Academia part 12? So Stitch was just waiting in the bus. You know, I'm gonna skip the whole thing. Everything happened like in canon, but Stitch could have just done it quicker, but he let Taniita have it. Stitch was just hanging around, was sitting right next to Midoriya, and Midoriya was just walking, thinking to himself. And then Suyasui thought and told Midoriya that it's a lot like All Might, and Suyasui believes that Stitch can beat All Might. You know, I'm kind of glad I put them, like, not knowing that Stitch was the one fighting All Might before the sludge villain thing happened. It would have been a completely different story, I'll tell you that. So when they did, Midoriya kind of panicked, but Stitch just, but it doesn't break his bones. Midoriya kind of was like blank, like, are you serious, bro? But he was also right about that, so he didn't give him much of a complaint. They came and they met 13, and 13 put on her responsibilities, you could say. With great power comes great responsibility. Rest in peace, Uncle Ben. Anyway, a portal opens up, and people coming out of it. Stitch notices that there are villains. Real life villains. Oh boy. Stitch immediately came into action. And Stitch wasn't not nervous at all. Like, Stitch is like 21 right now if we're counting in when he was made and what the movie came out and debuted. So he's mostly like older than actually the Class 1A. He just lied about his age. Anyway, it wouldn't really change much if he was the same age. Anyway, Stitch was blitzing, beating the crap all of these villains. Aizawa was worried, and one big bird guy just punched him, and it sent a powerful force, and Stitch wasn't really damaged. He was just shocked, like someone just punched him like that. Stitch grabbed onto something and noticed that it had a similar strength to All Might. But what happened when Stitch fought All Might? He didn't have a hard time, even though he was pissed off. He didn't try to kill All Might. He just wanted to show All Might to tell Midoriya he was sorry. So Stitch got this. Of course, the hand guy said that he has shock absorption. Stitch kind of wondered, can he take a full force? But Stitch decided to use his sharp claws and claw on Nomu, and he was able to because he was so small and agile, and it cut off his flesh. What if Stitch was in My Hero Academia? Part 13. Okay, Stitch was fighting this big, creepy creature, but of course, due to Stitch's appearance, he's not really scared of this creature, this Nomu. The hand guy saying that has shock absorption, but it didn't seem to affect Stitch at all. I don't know if Stitch did fight someone like the Nomu. I mean, and it's an experiment, so that's all. Stitch like crawled on the flesh and scratching, taking all the fleshes off, and it was not that much, and it was shocked. Shigaraki was shocked and screamed angrily at the Noma to get him off. But Stitch was small and agile compared to the big creature, and he clanged on to why his actual arms were still scratching him off. Deku, Suyu, and Mineta noticed this. They were all shocked, and the Noma decided to go jump all over the place, and it was all like a black blur. But Stitch was still keeping it on with no damage. At one point, Stitch landed on his feet, pulled the Noma like in the air. Stitch has hold more heavy things. He can even hold Gigamantia. And threw him up into the air, crashing out of the facility, and Stitch jumped up. And Stitch suddenly grabbed his plasma guns, even though he didn't really need to. He shot at him, hitting the Noma, taking most of the flesh off. And Stitch slammed Nobu's ass. And Stitch didn't do this, like, he wasn't bloodlusted, he was holding back. Stitch won. Out of the portal, Shigaraki was about to try to touch Stitch for some reason, but Stitch immediately reacted and just grabbed it. I'm making this Stitch a little bit more serious. He keeps pushing on, he just knows when to make sure things get real personal. Of course, his hands screamed the pain. The ghost must guy called out, "Master, we gotta get out of here." "How did you do it? This was made to kill All Might." And Stitch said,
This thing was not born human? It's an experiment?
the hand guy says, "Yes, what did you think?" Stitch felt sad for this creature. For someone that was made for destruction too. What if Stitch was in My Hero Academia Part 14? Stitch was sad and one tear was coming from his eye while he was looking at this dead Nomu. The Nomu couldn't really regenerate because Stitch was so much stronger. And and he died. And Shigaraki and Kiriki ran away. Everyone came to Stitch while Stitch was kind of crawling on its ground and noticed that a guy with 4 eyes and 1 eye. People were there, Pleakley and Jumba, and they looked at the dead Nomu and like, 626. The class 1A and Aizawa and 13 were confused. 626? What's wrong?
Stitch killed a creature like Stitch.
Ah, was he experimented to be indestructible? Oh, I guess my experiment was better. Everyone was shocked. Experimented on? What? Jumba looked at them. "Oh, yes, this is my experiment. Experiment 626. And Aizawa looked at Jumba sternly. 626? Why 626? Are there more? Yes, but they're not in Japan. They're at Hawaii. But they're not causing any harm. They used to make destructive. But Stitch and her little friend, which is older now, they're all good now." And Aizawa was not angry anymore, but so Stitch is not born originally? He was experimented to be a weapon? Yes, and I guess this bird-like creature is also a weapon. This is evil genius mine. Stitch looks at Aizawa and says,
Don't take evil genius literally.
Aizawa looks at Stitch, but agrees and says, okay. And Minashiro and the others were kind of sad, to tell Stitch not to cry, but Stitch felt bad for the Nomu. "Oh yeah, I was about to tell you, 626. Your girlfriend, Angel, she's coming to Japan to see you and plans to live with you." Stitch looks up in excitement, clearly not sad anymore. He just jumps around like hippity hop, bippity boppity boo. Bippity boppity boo. Oh my freaking gosh. Dragon Ball Z characters. Well, Stitch was clearly excited for his girlfriend Angel. Well, Angel in her boat, wearing her glasses. Boochie boo. Yep, next day, Stitch sees Angel. They all fell in love. They were hanging out together, having coffee, having some shopping. And Midoriya notices him wheel by and says, "Oh, hey, Stitch. Is that one of the..." Stitch looks around so anyone doesn't listen and crawls down to Stitch and Angel. "Is that an experiment?" Stitch...
Experiment 624.
"Oh, I see. She looks a lot like you."
Yeah.
"Does she have the same power sets as you?"
Stitch can... Angel can... I don't feel like explaining it to you.
Midoriya agrees and says okay.
Maybe you should ask Uraka out.
What? No.
Yes.
Sees Uraka and everybody. "You're gonna go. Tell Uraka that you're gonna take her out." "No, go.
No, Stitch, just go!